All right. Hey. Thanks for joining us for Let's Talk About It with Xavia Fox. And I am your host, Xavia Fox. Get ready for this journey on Monday mornings, Thursday, and Friday afternoons. We're going to laugh and learn. We're here to learn other viewpoints on relationships, information on health and fitness, investing, sex, and much more. Today, we're kicking off with our newest addition to the show, Carter Thorpe. We'll get to know him and look forward to his investment Q&A segment. Then Ryan Wilson is back with us again on this Financial Friday to update us on what's going on in the cryptocurrency world. Now, if you have questions on either segment, feel free to zoom in using the link which you can find on my Facebook page, Xavia Fox, or join the public Facebook group, Let's Talk About It with Xavia Fox, and get all the information. Go to xavierfox.com/radio-show for the schedule of the month of December to see when your favorite personality or topic is scheduled. Now, let's get to it. Hey, Carter, how you doing today?
I'm good, yourself?
I'm doing great. So I like to welcome you to the show, and I appreciate you accepting the invite to host your own segment. And so you're going to be doing the investing Q&A, right?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you for asking me. Definitely, yes.
Oh yeah, we've got a really good listener base growing here, and I know that your information is going to be anticipated and well received. We're going to entitle the day that you and Ron are on is Financial Friday. So everybody who wants to make some money, they need to tune in on Financial Friday. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? You got brothers and sisters? Tell us about you.
I'm the baby boy of I guess 5 siblings. Raised in Northeast Baltimore. Um, uh, Pretty much a native of Baltimore all my life.
Okay, Baltimore. And so what was your first job?
Believe my first job was, I think, what everybody had. 16 years old. You know, your ambition is to go get a job, and your job was McDonald's.
McDonald's. All right.
And McDonald's doing the 12 count cheese. How many counts on the cheeseburgers? 12. You know, that thing, and mopping the floor. And that was my very first job.
Okay. I was in food service, but I became a waitress.
Mm.
Yeah, I like them tips. Tips always is a good thing, especially if you're kind of cute. That just really works for you.
Don't it? Tell me about it. I spent a lot of money because of that.
And so were you in any activities when you were in high school and stuff? What activities did you do?
No, I pretty much got caught up in the streets when it was, Baltimore was kind of difficult coming up in that era. When I was 16, 17, it was a different type of thing. In high school, um, this thing was turning towards everybody had to be somebody and be an image, and you was definitely chasing money, but chasing it the wrong ways. How about that?
Okay. All right. So you was always on your money, but a different way sometime, huh?
Yeah, I think I learned what distribution was at a very young age. At 17, I really understood what it was. So, but not in the form that it should have been, but it is what it is.
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, and I say this kind of often, people, the young boys who get into that wrong sales plan,
Mhm.
a lot of them really have great minds. If they could just switch it over and become legit with it, if they could, you know, apply it to something else that may not be quite as easy, but I don't think that's easy because you put your life on the line. That's a high risk.
Well, no, that's the reason why they give us so much time. If you ever sitting inside of a sentencing hearing, they pretty much know that because they're saying that if you had the capabilities of doing this, you're way more smarter than what you perceive yourself to be. So that I'm a help you destroy yourself. So you're absolutely right. A lot of the young guys that are in the streets, they don't even understand that they're learning business 101 on their own pace without someone mentoring them. Because it takes a savvy mind and a savvy mindset and understanding how to to navigate the waters to even participate in that space, because you got so many predators and elements that's thrown at you. You got to know what you got to actually know what you're doing. So yeah, a lot of them don't really understand that they're really smarter than what they are, and I believe that's the reason why they give us so much time. I remember one of my friends got sentenced, and they told him, it was like, man, you have way more opportunities than anybody else. So again, we have to give you time, and that's pretty much the reality of it.
Wow. Yeah, I have a friend. He started off there, but he actually went legit. Now he owns uh, a bunch of rental property in
Yeah.
Milwaukee. So yeah, he switched it over a little bit. But how old were you when you got your first place?
I was telling a friend the other day, I was 18. I moved out on my 18th. I had so much respect for my mother and father that I couldn't leave the house until I was 18. Like I had them, and believe it or not, I had the money when I was 16. I mean, I was actually taking care of my dad. My dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and if you know anything about back then, on a fixed income, I think his medications may have cost him every bit about $200 a week or something like that. And I was pretty much taking care of my dad, but I still had respect for my mom and my mother and father. But I didn't even move out the house until I was 18. On my 18th birthday, I pulled my car in my yard and I backed my car in the yard, and I put all my things in. And they asked me, where you going? I said, I got an apartment. I'm moving out.
Wow. Wow, you had that planned out pretty well. 18, huh?
18, yeah. At
Okay.
18.
You're definitely a thinker and a planner. I get
Yeah.
that over there. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
moved out when I was 18 too. A
Mhm.
little bit after my 18th birthday, but I moved out at 18 too. So when did you, well, since I know a little bit about you, I'm going to say it this way. When did you start your first business?
Oh, the very first business
And what
was
was it?
it was actually a franchise. So I bought a franchise from Coverall of Maryland, and I had a partner, and I think the franchise I might have started at like $7,000, and I used to run around at night and clean up buildings. I used to run around at night doing janitorial work, trash, shampooing floors, stripping and waxing, and then from that point on, I got pretty much away from the day to day because I learned how to do the estimating. So then I hired a crew. Then I started going out and estimating the projects. But again, as anything in life, you always outgrow it. I mean, once you master it, you outgrow it, and you're always looking for that. It's that next high. I'm chasing the next one. What else can I conquer? What else can I get into that's challenging for me? And I've always been on that chase.
Okay. And so from there, how many businesses have you owned? And can you just go like,
Oh man, that I did that. After that one, I believe the very next one that I did was I partnered up with somebody, and we did a private ambo company. I was actually the youngest African American in Baltimore licensed to be a BLS ambulance service for Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland. Had a whole bunch of nursing homes and things of that nature. So I did
you
that.
ran an ambulance service?
Yeah, I was there. My license number was if you look at the MEMS number was license number was 101. You can verify that. I was licensed in Maryland to run a private ambo company. I used to transport people for dialysis and um, from hospital to home. Um, any way you needed the ambo, we did it. Wheelchair services. I did all of that before. I did it before. Now it was when I was doing it. Um, what took place was, and the reason why I got out of that business was because insurance reasons. There was another company that was doing the same thing that I was doing, and someone got burnt up on the van.
Woo.
It was in a wheelchair and they couldn't get off. So when that happened, insurance companies saw the liability. So we might have went from paying something like $2,000 a year for insurance to like $12,000 a year.
Oh gosh.
And I was also dealing with a situation with Medicare. What people don't understand is that That process of getting paid was the worst process because they would make you submit these things called a letter of medical necessity. That meant that the patient had to have a letter in order to be transported. And generally, what happens is the doctors, because they have a relationship with the patient, they may be mobile to go back and forth to dialysis by a car, but because the doctor has developed this relationship, and plus he gets paid for it, he was subscribed for them to have these $1,200 amble rides. So, and again, Medicare didn't want to pay for it, so they started scrutinizing the bill. So, and again, I think I might have been owed out probably like close to $250,000 when I closed the door.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I actually took a loss on that one. I mean, because again, I didn't understand the logistics of that. I actually purchased a company from somebody that was going out of business. I took over, I took it, I bought it from him. I actually bought it from him for like 200,000. And then, so really, I'm probably out of $500,000 on that deal altogether from the purchase of it, and then the monies that was owed to me from the government, to the point I just walked away. We didn't even chase it down. I just closed the doors and just sold the equipment and collected what I could collect and kept going. And after that, then I moved into construction, where I'm still at now, which construction is like, that's like my playground, because it's somewhat like the street. You deal with some characters that you deal with, but they honorable characters, believe it or not. When they, they I would deal with them now because a lot of them are honorable, because again, you're held by a certain standard. You're held by contractual obligations, and if you don't meet that contractual obligation, as long as I know how to crack that contract, that obligation, I can get my money from you. I mean, I haven't had guys that sat down and wrote me checks and told me I made it bad because I put the check in the account. Now I said, no, you made it bad when you wrote me the check, but because I had the recourse that I could go and tap into their bond, to their performance bond, or request it from the prime that's actually on the job, I would get my money. So, and again, it's like, you deal with some characters, but again, that's construction and trucking I think is my number one passion. So that's,
Okay.
yeah, I was just at a MBE outreach this morning at the Maryland Live, just out there. I hadn't seen some guys today. I hadn't seen them in a while, and they were looking for me. And I went out, and thank God I did go out. I made contact with a few of them, and put some things in order for next year.
So you said that trucking and construction is your passion. So how did you wind up getting into that? Because you started out with the cleaning, and then you went to the ambulance service.
Well, and again, I had a car wash in West Baltimore, and I ran into a older gentleman named Mr. Burley. He's still around. He's like my dad. We were talking about, and I had hit, at that point, like I said, I didn't have a lot. I had hit bottom, and he was like, and I used to see him always pull up in these nice cars. And I'm like, man, this guy a nice car. You got brand new Mercedes Benz all the time. And then we started talking. He was like, yeah, I pretty much do like $3 million a year and hauling, and I got this contract with this one. So it intrigued me. And so at that point when he intrigued me and got my attention, I went and got my CDLs. I went and got my permit, and I asked him to let me work for him. And I actually went to work for him to learn the business. So I went to work with him, and I used to work like 110 hours a week with this guy. Put in 110 hours a week, to the point that one time I got out my car. Well, at least I told myself I was going to get out the car, and I was going to put gas in it. And when I got out, I fell on my face because my lower extremities had fell asleep. They got numb. But my mind had told me that my mind told me that I could get out and walk. But my body said, no, we shutting down on you. So with that being said, I rode that as long as I could, and until one day me and him had a disagreement. And he came to me. I asked him, I told him I needed him to fix something on the truck, and he told me he did what anybody would do that. They own something. He walked me to the truck and said, "You see this?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "What is it?" He said, "It says Burley on the side." I said, "You're right." So when he said that to me, it kind of touched my ego, and my ego said, "You're a man of your own." So with that being said, I looked in a truck paper magazine, and I'll never forget it. I bought a truck in I bought a truck in New Jersey, upstate New Jersey, for $10,000. I called the guy on the phone. I gave him my credit card number over the phone. I didn't see the truck, didn't know what kind of condition it was in. All I knew was that the truck was, I could get the truck for 10,000. My credit card could pay for it. I paid for it. I went and picked it up on that weekend. I brought it back home, and I told him, I was getting when I brought it back on that Monday. I said, man, I'm giving you 2 weeks notice. I'm leaving, and I haven't looked back since.
Wow. Okay. And so that was the dump truck service.
Yeah.
And how did you wind up getting into construction?
It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much road construction. So, and again, I mean, so far as paving
Oh,
that asphalt and doing things like, you might need a driveway or a concrete driveway or whatever. So it's all under construction, but you need a bobcat to do small jobs. You need a dump truck to do large jobs. So,
yep, yep. I
and
get it. I get it. And so tell me about your experience and how you got into investing. That was a pretty interesting story.
oh, that story there it was actually I got involved in it with my partner from the street. Well, I didn't get involved in it with him. We were like 18, and we would be sitting on the corner, and every day he would come out and read the Wall Street Journal. And me being who I was like, because I'm a tangible guy. I needed to have it in my hand. I needed to touch it. I needed to feel it. I needed to see it. And he was putting himself through college at Morgan. And he said, man, I'm investing in Nike, AOL, FedEx. I mean, it was multiple companies that he was investing in. And me being naive and being closed-minded at that time, I'm telling him like, yeah, well, I understand what you're doing, but I gotta go down there. I gotta go down the hill, and I gotta do what I need to do, and I get back up with you. I ain't even trying to hear that. That stuff right there, it has no value because I couldn't touch it. I couldn't feel it. So this is about 18. So time goes on, and I think he might have called me when we were like 30. Probably about 30, 31. And he said to me, he said, yeah, man, you know all that stuff I purchased back in the day? He said, yeah, I just took 3 million out the table from this one. I took 1 million out the table from that one. I took 5 out the table from that one. I took 300,000 from that one. And I was mind blown because I'm saying we were in the same we was in the same circle. I saw you doing it, but I couldn't receive it, right? I couldn't receive it, but I said, "Dang, you dummy! Use." I kicked myself. I called myself so many dummies. I was like, man, that's my new name, dummy. But after that, what took place, what really got me into it, and it was like, I think, and I say this, faith in God works in mysterious ways. I mean, definitely God, when He has a plan for you and a path, it's already etched out for you. You just gotta all you have to do is just be there, right? So another friend that I knew that I knew from New York, he was here and he was making this transition over to the business guy. He was being a Bells bomb and he was getting into real estate, but he always had this wacky idea, and and I would always feel like that he would put me in a situation that could possibly get me in a bunch of trouble or give me a bunch of time. So one day he called me, but when he called, I knew that I still had to go. I was like, it's like a code of honor. Like, that's my guy. Whatever this is, I still gotta go, even though I'm not there. But we have our relationship made me go and visit him.
Okay.
So when that took place, uh, he brought me in his office and he showed me his computer screen. And I said, okay. I said, what's this? And on the computer screen, it said $15,000. He said, man, look, I got it. I said, what you got now? That was my word. I said, man, what you got now? He said, man, I spent $1,000 on some calls on Halliburton because he understood what the market would do during the winter months. He knew that. And again, he had studied the market and understood that, during the winter months, oil drillers are in demand. Productivity is up. They're going to make money. So that was his bet. His hedge was that they was going to be drilling for more and more oil, and he made money off of that movement. So with that being said, uh, I said, man, you telling a lie. He said, no, I'm not. So I said, okay, I got the guy that I got the guy. So I called my friend up. I said, man, listen, I'm down here with such and such, and he telling me that he made $1,000. He made $15,000 off 1,000 on Halliburton. And his response to me was, man, they do that every day. I said, well, if they do that every day, you gonna come down here and y'all two gonna have a conversation, and we're gonna talk about this so that I can understand what's going on. Because now my antennas are up.
Right.
So now I need you to know that these two guys, I know these guys from the streets. Now, if we walked into a bar, we could talk with each other with our body language and our eyes and know what the next movement was going to be, right?
Okay.
So with this conversation, they were speaking an actual English language, and I could not participate because they were saying to me, yeah, I look at the VIX, I look at the RSIs, I look at the MACD, I look at the UUP, I'm looking at gold, so they was having this conversation that I was unable to participate. I felt like I was lost, right? And at that point, I got up from that conversation and I said, I would never allow them to have that conversation without me again, without me understanding what they were saying.
All from
that point on, I went and self-taught myself.
In the stocks and commodities and stuff?
Yeah, I went and taught myself. Yeah, because I wanted to have a leg up with them. I had to go find, and again, at that point, I was told to go seek the knowledge out. I had to go seek that knowledge out myself. And I taught myself to a certain point.
Okay. And so what was your first, I don't want to get all in your financial business, but what was your first stock, or what was the first thing you made big money on, and what was that big money?
I don't think it was really a big money move, because it was invested. It was just it was an eye-opening experience. So it wasn't like I hit this home run because it took time. I'm 50 now. I mean, and it took me some time to get to this place, but it took time with me investing in companies like Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft, and all those companies. It took me a while to get there. So it was just like, and again, we've always been programmed, even like I said, from the streets. I never kept count of my money. What I mean by that, somebody always told me that if I could count my money, I ain't have none. So when you put an account together, you let it participate, you let it do what it do, and then you go back one day and you say, wow, okay. Because that's what the money was meant to multiply. It wasn't meant for me to spend it. It was meant for a purpose. So wasn't meant for me to go out and buy no brand new cars, wasn't meant for me to go buy no brand new houses, wasn't meant for me to go out and take these extravagant trips. But for me to go out, and if I had a day job working my truck or something like that, that took care of my personal finances.
I like what you said, that the money was meant for you to multiply. And I think that is probably one of the things that people who want to invest maybe lack sometime, is that money that they can set aside and give it time to multiply. But those of us who have a couple coins, just a couple of them, we want to make it multiply. But so are you into day trading?
Pretty much of a trader, yeah. Right now, and it's not really day. I mean, you can call it day trading, because right now the market is really crazy. I'm actually sitting here now monitoring a position on Tesla. But I'm more of a trader now, and it's not really every day, but some days I trade and some days I don't, because again, you will learn, and once you get into the market and you understand how the market has a behavior like everyone. I tell my friend, they didn't believe it. I'd be like, I know when you're doing something because your behavior is wrong. So, and again, anything that we deal with, even your kids, if you have kids, when your kid up to no good, you already can sense it because it's how they moving. So once you understand and learn how the market moves, you learn how to strike it when you're supposed to. So you don't always have to trade every day. People who trade every day sometimes can trade themselves out of their position. They can trade themselves out of their money. They can put themselves in a position where, The guy done went and took $40,000 out of his 401k, and then he broke, but he thinking because he got $40,000, he gonna make $1 billion, and that's not it. So, and again, I think I was listening to, and again, I haven't, I see, and I see Adam is on here today.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I see he's on here, and he actually taught me something. So I'm older than him, but I purchased his course, and there was a certain piece to what my trading skills that I was missing that he was able to give me. So um, we don't have to trade every day. I don't tell people to trade every day. I try to tell my friends, yo, put your phone down. You know, if you believe in something, it's just like your relationship or whatever you deal. If you believe in God, you don't look at it every day. You just put the effort into it and let it do what it should do. So if your conviction is, I'm a user of Peloton. I love the product for whatever reason, and I love it. And you convict it, I say you invest in it. I don't tell you, you make your choice after you do your homework. Don't take my advice on that. But I tell you to do your homework on whatever product that you use on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, that's good advice. I should invest in Honda then.
On Honda, yeah, I mean, how can you not? Honda's a reliable car, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and again, do you think Honda's going anywhere anytime soon?
Not at
I
all.
I don't think so.
Honda is such a good car. Even when it's on its last leg, it really uses that leg well.
Very well. I had one. Trust me, I had a 4 cylinder before they was even making the 6 cylinders and all that. I had an old raggedy 4 door one that I paid $500 for. Was just riding around, happy as anything, right?
Yep.
So, and again, people don't even invest in the things that they own. I mean, when you talk about, even when you talk about the car makers, I mean, and I was just looking the other day at everybody, as everybody's hot on Tesla. Well, I think Tesla has actually reached its peak. Me myself personally, I believe that when you turn it into a rental car, is you telling people that we've reached the mass market that we've pretty much going to take. So now, I mean, we're going to sell to you. So now we got to rent them out because it's not that attractive. Because number one, you have other car makers that's coming out that's making a better car. Lucent, they won an award for their car, but because they actually can give you a range of 500 miles. Tesla can even at the top of the line with the Cheetah software and it implemented all that old craziness. It only can get you 400 and some odd miles. And I actually had the opportunity to ride in one, and I said, man, I felt like I was riding around in an overpriced iPad that was a golf cart. So and again,
What?
yeah, I mean, it's a range bound car. It's a fun car. It's not a every. I wouldn't say that I'm gonna use that for my everyday use. Don't get me wrong. The car is a wonderful car, right? I think it's a wonderful car, but I don't think I would use it for every day. And again, I don't think you. And when you see people who buy them, they don't buy them for everyday use. You see them with. If you go look at one right now for a used one, you probably would find one with very low miles on it because again, the person that has it either uses it when they have a purpose for it. Like, you know what? Hey babe, you know what? Let's wash the car. We're gonna ride to the beach. They ride to the beach. They know they're gonna be there for a while. It take like an hour to charge the thing up. It take like an hour. So and again, we so used to convenience where you pull into a gas station. I put a nozzle in the tank. I squeeze it. 10, 15 minutes. I'm on down the road. So time is valuable. So again, you have to know where you're going when you're in that car. But it's not a bad car. But
Okay.
again, you have so many other automobile makers that's coming out making that car that I think that the I think that it's done lost its thunder, if that makes any sense. It's just they were trying to create a situation like Apple. They were trying to create this car that because when you look at the steering wheel and how it's set up, it's not set up like a regular car. It's set up for you to have to be used to it. So like if you use the Apple product, I cannot use a Windows product no more. I can't operate Windows, but I can operate it. I can operate a Mac, but I cannot operate Windows. So they were trying to
Okay.
create a culture when it came down to the car, but I think that that has hit the ceiling, and I think that they realize it. But they're trying to get that culture to grow with taking and renting that car to Hertz and letting Hertz put it in the mass field for other people who, at one point in time, uh, at this time, they don't they on the fence about buying the car.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like, we gotta let people see what this we done reached it, we done ran out of steam now. We gotta get some new addicts in the door. So let's put it out there and rent it and let the people see what if they like it or not. Let the market dictate if it wants it or not, pretty
Okay.
much.
So didn't you mention to me once something about an investment club?
Yeah. I've also I put together I think yeah, Angela, she on here, she one of the members. We I was approached last year from some guys that I do business with, and they said, "Hey man, you want to be a part of the investment group?" And I said, "Sure, I'll participate in it. I don't have no problem with that. Let me see what it looks like." So they had told me that they had did one prior to that, probably about 7 years ago, and they ran it for 5 years. And they said over the 5 years, they had a return of only 12% over the 12 years. And I was like, what y'all doing over there? And he was like, man, we just investing and this and that. I said, okay, cool. I said, but let me look at it. So for some reason, I think we was on a Zoom call like this. There might have been probably about 10, 15 people in the room. And they was all saying because Donald Trump was going to lose, that the market was going to crash, and they thought the market was going to crash, and it was a lot of money to be made. And if you know anything about charts, charts are pretty much your charts talk to you just like your car. Your car tell you when it's overheated, when it's cold, when it's warm. It tell you everything. You look at the dashboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
I take a look at the dashboard. The dashboard doesn't tell me that the market is going down. The market tells me that the market is still asking for more upside. So I told them I asked everybody to send like $50. Um, I think I was probably looking maybe to get maybe 50, might have been maybe $500, something like that. Well, the next morning I woke up, I wound up getting a phone call saying that they had $6,000 they had collected overnight. So that tells you, as African Americans, that we do have buying power, we do have money, we just don't know how to disperse of it in
Absolutely.
right manner. So, but again, they had the money, and we was only looking for $1,000. We wound up with $6,000. So with that $6,000, I said, okay, well, I didn't participate the first days. I let the accountant and Kevin and all them, they was in the market. So when I came in and I took a look at what they were buying, I said, man, what are y'all buying? Y'all in here buying freaking mutual funds and ETFs. I said, you ain't gonna make no money off of that. So they said, well, what we gotta buy? I said, you gotta buy options. He said, well, we don't know nothing about options. We just know about stocks. I said, well, let's learn about options then. So I told him to take. I said, well, look, if you feel that the market is going down, I'm gonna entertain your thought, but the market is not going down. So I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna take $300. You're gonna buy a put against the SPY. If anything gonna crash, if you say the market gonna go down, if anything gonna fall, it's gonna be the S&P. It's gonna be it's gonna be the SPYs. So let's bet on that to go down. I said, but you gonna give me the rest of this money, and I'm gonna work. I said, about we got $6,000, but we only can use 30% of this $6,000, and we're gonna position this money to the point that we can make some smart trades. Long story short, I took the 6,000 from 6,000 to 11,000 in 30 days.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. So with that was the eye-opening experience for the people around us to say, hey, maybe somebody knows something over here that I don't know. So what I did was I said, well, because then once they did that and everybody was settled and they all happy, went home for Christmas and spent their money, and as what we do, they come back. They come back. But I was having a problem because I was fighting with a couple of guys in the group that was saying, well, this one he make this kind of money, and $100 a month is not enough for him. $100 a month, he not going he going to laugh at us. I said, well, okay, well, if you want to do that, I said, listen, let's get a group of 75 people. I said, our goal is to bring in 75 people. I said, you still want to be able to have the average day Joe to participate and understand that they have a vehicle to possibly make money in the stock market without losing it. But you got to give those people a chance. Just because they only can spend $100 don't mean that they don't mean anything. They have just as much meaning as the guy that got $1,000 to spend, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, you put three tiers together, the 100, the 500, and 1,000. I said, if you do that, at the course of the end of the year, do you know you will have $450,000 under management? I said, and
Wow.
as a black group, you at that point you could take, and if you want to purchase real estate, you can as a whole. We could buy commercial property as a whole. You could lend money to people that are entrepreneurs in the business with a return, as long as they're not a high risk, you know. So, and again, I was trying to tell them how to be self-efficient and uh, to take care of themselves without needing outside sources, because that's the biggest thing in our community, is that we are burdened with, when you walk into the bank, I don't care, you can have a 750 credit score, you can walk in the bank, they give you a car. But if you don't have a business plan, you don't have all your financials in order, you're not getting no money for a business. They're gonna give you every reason why they shouldn't before they give you some money, reason to make some money. So, and again, you know, we always look down on every group. Man, the Spanish people, they here, they taking our jobs. But what you fail to realize is that the Spanish or the Jews, all of them come together, they pool
Mm-hmm.
their money together. If one guy if they got one guy that's in there here, a drywall guy, and he live in the house, they buy him a van so he can go out and do drywall. If
Mm-hmm.
it's a guy that's in there doing electrical, they're gonna go out and buy him. But again, that whole group comes together and take care, and then you want to know why they able to succeed better than we can. Well, because we had the mindset that I got mine and I don't want you to have none, and I'm better than you. I'm gonna invite you over to my house just so I can show you off my brand new $7,000 couch. But
Right.
you really don't have $7,000 because guess what? You financed it. You still
Right.
for over the next 12 months,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yep.
So, and again, it's actually the mindset of the people when it comes down to finances. And again, a lot of people are not able to pivot. And again, when the opportunity comes, you need to be able to pivot and you need to be able to see it. And sometimes, certain people and certain elements are not to be around you, but some people have a tendency that they have to keep holding on to those elements because it's the norm. It's just your norm.
So the investment club, is it open or is it private? Are you
It's
accepting people or?
it's open. We talking about, and again, I think we were only allowing people in at the beginning of the year. Um, we were only letting people in at the beginning of the year, but we didn't want to have people coming and going throughout the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the group is still open. The group is still open. I can give
Okay.
anybody the number if they want to contact Kevin. Because again, it's actually a group where we have an accountant. Our accountant actually he was an accountant for Casino Live, the one of the casinos here in Maryland. So um he's actually the accountant. We have Kevin, he's the president, and me, I'm the senior trader. So everybody has their role. It's not a thing where one person can take your money and they can run off and do what they choose to do, because that's how you create the Bernie Madoffs. You got this one guy in the room and he's supposed to be the smartest guy in the room, and he's supposed to be the smartest guy in the room, but then he run off with everybody's money because everybody's too lazy to go and do their own homework.
Yeah, that can happen. That
It,
definitely can happen.
it,
So
it,
is
it
there?
happens. People want, and again, we want instant gratification. Who doesn't want instant gratification? And I don't have to work for it.
True. What's the name of your investment group?
it's called BBG, which is actually standing for Black Business Group Investment LLC. And the email is actually bbginvestors@gmail.com. And they could just reach out to Kevin or myself and just say, hey, I wanted some information on how to become a part of the investment group.
All right, that sounds good. All right. So we're gonna get back to a lighter part of the interview. That was great information. And I definitely will be in contact because I want to know how much it costs to join the investment group so that I can get in on some of these thousands and thousands of dollars because I've been doing it myself and it's driving me crazy.
Well, but you know what? The other day when you and I talked, I think that your approach was amazing because you said to me you were investing in all dividend stocks, right?
Absolutely.
So, which means that you already know and have the understanding that I want somebody to give me. I need a check on a regular basis from
Yes.
my. So you already know that. So, and again, if you tell people that, they're like, no, that's not true. You're like, okay, all right. I mean, I'm just finding out the other day about you have ETFs that have dividends. I was like, what?
Oh.
So yeah. So and again, I mean, if you don't want to pick an individual stock, you go pick an ETF, which takes care of the whole sector of the market that you're looking at. And if it's whatever, you can get a return on. I was like, wow. So I didn't even know it. So and again, I thought your approach at it was amazing because a lot of people don't even take that approach. And
Oh yeah.
again, when you're trying to do an individual stock, it can be hard because you can't always pick them right. Speculation, spec stocks, I think they're kind of easy. And I'm just gonna give you a quick overview. I had a friend. They went out of town. They were in Alabama. Was visiting with a family. They were a doctor, and they called up and said, "Hey, I'm down here with John, and he said this about Neo, and I want to participate in it." And I said, well, let me look at the charts. Let me look at the charts and let me see what it says. So I told him, I said, look, I can't even buy this until $2. And they said, well, no, it's $13 now. I said, I'm just telling you what the Greeks are telling me. The Greeks talk. Now listen, they telling me that you can't purchase this until $2. Well, at that time, I had access to the account to place the trade for them. So one day I was out working. I got an alert on my phone. I got the alert. I hit it. And I said, "Hey, I want you to know." And I posted it. I posted it on Facebook just so that they could see it. So if they ever had to go back in their timeline, that it would be noted. I don't want it to be that it's unverifiable. I want it to be noted. I said, I think I got like 600 shares at something like $2 and let's say $2.30 some cents. I think before the time that we reconciled the relationship, before we separated the relationship, I think I do know those the same shares were like $14 a share.
Oh wow.
Those shares went actually the highest those shares went to was something like $72 a share. But again,
Oh.
at $72, would I enter into that again? No, because again, I think that and then once you understand that stuff can be overshot. So and again, it was I think it was ran up with too much anticipation from the marketplace. So many people who don't understand that want to participate, they got in because again, if you talk to people, it's the next Tesla. Well, let me explain something to y'all. Nobody will be the next Elon. If
Mm.
anyone thinks that any car maker is going to be Elon, they are sadly mistaken. Elon is putting people in space. Elon is digging underground tunnels. Elon is building electric cars. Elon is he's taking houses off the grid. So what I mean by this guy's actually building HVAC units, put them inside of a house to run off the solar. So again, he got the whole house. He's trying to take people off the grid and
Mm.
putting them on his own grid, right? So even when you buy a Tesla, and again, I had to learn it. Even when you buy a Tesla, when you go charge up, you got to charge up in one of his stations, right? But before you charge up in one of his stations, he got your credit card.
Mm.
So, and again, he's creating his own ecosystem that you will sustain him. You cannot beat him. That's why the other day he came out and said he was asking Biden to take money out of the new fund, out of the new bill, so that they wouldn't fund to build out the infrastructure for charging stations. Because why? If that's the case, his his ecosystem is destroyed. Because again, now what happened is everybody will make a plug that'll go into everybody's car, and now he's not the only one that can reap the benefits from the charging.
Mm-hmm.
So he understands that. That's why he came out and said what he said the other day. That's exactly why he said it. He already know that if that happens, if they put this bill together, he's threatened.
What did you say the name of the business is again? Black
Business Group Investment, LLC.
Okay. Because it seems like you definitely do your homework, and I need you to do my stuff too. I'm gonna still have my stocks to pay dividends because I like getting that check, and they all pay at different times. So
Don't they?
I'm getting a check every month, I don't have to do nothing, just let my money sit there. And so
But again, if you're taking that same money that they're sending you each month and you reinvesting it, and over time, somebody's paying you to keep on reinvesting. So
absolutely.
What I'm saying is that if you had a disposable $10,000 to the side, and you had a true disposable $10,000 to the side, and you invested it all into dividend stocks. That means every quarter or whatever that payment is scheduled to come out, you're receiving a check. So if you take that check and you keep reinvesting it, what happens is that you're creating an equity curve. So again, when it's this, your money is just not sitting there, it's creating its own, and again, it's multiplying itself. It's turning without you getting up in the morning, going to work. Somebody is literally going to work for you. So somebody told me the best thing. They said, you want to be a business owner. If you want to be a business owner, buy stocks because you own part of the company. You are a shareholder of the company. You own the business.
That's true. But here's my challenge with that. So the way my account is set up, when they pay me the dividends, it goes into my account, right? It's where I could take it out and put it in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
But I do this show, and I have a monthly podcast, and I do real estate. So I never really have time to sit in front of the computer and figure out what my next investment is, which is why I'm asking about your investment group, because it would be a whole lot easier for me to say, hey, Carter, what you want me to send? Let me send you that money, and then you turn it into whatever it is, because I'm going to still have my base right there. I still have my stocks that pay dividend. They're sitting there. I'm going to leave them there because whether they go up or down, I still get a check. It might not be as big a check every time, but I still get a check whether it's up or down. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I think you might be approaching it the wrong way or thinking the wrong way and thinking that you don't have the time. You actually have the time. It's just that you have to understand the information that you're processing. So, and again, now for me, I understand that we have a short, again, headlines in the news are pretty much what we follow, right? So headline for me and that I stick to all the time is that we have a shortage in cars because of chip makers. So, and again, that's telling me that there's a supply and there's a demand for chip makers. We just don't have a supply for it. So now is for me to go out and try to figure out which one of these companies is the best for my fit, right? Or sometimes I can even take a speculation on something that I think that might even work. But I know that I want to be a part of the chip makers. I know I want to be a part of the EVs, but I don't want to buy the cars. I want to buy the raw materials. Okay. What I mean by raw materials is that I want to buy the lithium, because again, lithium is what they need for the batteries. But not only is lithium used in the cars, they use in your door cells, your energizers. So again, what's going to happen eventually? That resource is going to run out, and it's going to be a supply and demand. And it's going to cause the price to go up, right? So I know this. I know that eventually, somewhere, we're going to hit it. Somebody going to say, "Man, we done made entirely too many of these batteries." So then you got to go into recycling. Then they got to go find recycles. But again, I'm looking for the raw materials. I don't want to participate in the car making. No, because everybody gonna have an EV car. Everyone is going to have a EV, BMW, Mercedes, shit, even shucks. What's the Lamborghini? They came out with one. Lamborghini. Who else came out with one? I think Porsche has one. And Lamborghini said they was never going to make it. I don't even think Rolls Royce and Bentley are talking about making it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't want to be in the car making business. I want to be in the battery business.
The battery business.
Yeah, and they have a great ETF that I've been looking at, which is I would tell people to do their own homework on it, but it's a EV. It's a the one that I was looking at was Light. It's a global fund. It's called LIT. I like that, but and there's a few others out there.
Okay. Well,
But
we're gonna hurry up through the rest of this interview. We're gonna get to know a little bit more about you, so our listeners will be able to, feel like they know you, you part of the family, and all that kind of good stuff. Because we definitely got caught up in the investment side of stuff. And that was definitely interested. And we got like 10 minutes left, and I got a few more questions
okay.
just to get to know you on a personal side. So aside from your kids, do you have kids?
Oh, do I have kids? I raised two families.
Okay.
I got two. I got now. I have now. When you say biological kids, I got two, but I got a. I have. I probably have all together about. Let me get it straight. Let me see that Christian.
Yeah.
I gotta get it right. I got two Christians. I got a Donna. I got a Dwayne. And I got a new one that was recent. I got one Tiffany. So I got like six kids. I got like six. Yeah.
You got a new one.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was a friend of her. She was her mom. Me and her mom were friends, and I just look at it as I respect her.
Okay, so you adopted them. Like I gave birth to two daughters, but I have two sons. One is my stepson. That was actually my husband who's deceased. It was his son, so that's my stepson. And then I had a relationship, and I kind of got an adopted son from that. He calls me mom too. So
Yeah,
you can.
I love kids. I love kids. I love them.
I'm not a big kid fan, but I collect them as I go if I fall in love with them. But
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say I just love them. So aside from your kids, what has been your proudest moment in life?
My proudest moment in life. Oh man, I think my proudest was my kids. My daughter graduated because again, yeah, I remember I never graduated. So and again, 10th grade was as far as I went.
Really?
But to see my daughter my daughter graduate, that was probably my proudest moment.
Okay. What was your proudest moment in business?
I think reaching the first $1 million in revenue, generating the first $1 million in revenue.
Okay, that's a good one. I'd be proud of that too.
Yeah,
And so what was
that's a hurdle for people.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep, we all want to make that first million. So you already hit that.
Yeah.
I'm still working on mine, but I'm getting there.
I can't say I made it. I can say that I make it, because people believe that. That's why I tell people like, you really have to understand business. Business is basically just numbers, percentages. So, and again, you may make $1 million, but the average business after expenses maybe 20%, and that's doing good. Now you get a business that's doing 50% of what it made, you got a great business. Somebody got a great business model.
Yeah, you must not have many employees either, because once you pay them, that's a big expense right there, your labor cost. So what was your toughest moment in life?
Toughest, oh man, going through trials, my dad passing, understanding that at that my toughest moment was like I said, losing my dad and encountering what a lot of African Americans don't understand is that we need to have our things in order so far as will, so far as trust, so far as having everything in order. Because again, I woke up to a nightmare. I was standing trial. I was actually standing trial for a drug charge, a federal drug charge. And with that being going on, I'm using my dad and my legal defense at that time. My legal defense at that time was like 300 some thousand. You know, people didn't
Wow.
understand it. I had to spend. I had 5 lawyers, and each one specialized in something different. And my mom having I had to fight my siblings for my mother so that she could have a place to stay. So um, they were trying to take her house, and I couldn't understand that because I knew my mom had lived in that house as long as I had been in that house. So I had to save it. So I had to send $25,000 cash to the lawyer just so that so she can keep the house to buy them out.
Wow.
Yeah, that was I think like my pitfall for me, because
That, that sounds
I was going through so much. I was just going through it all. Um, so I think that was the worst for me. You could say relationships, but nah, relationships, nah. I think that was probably my biggest.
so what was your toughest moment in business?
Closing it. That much was me closing the doors for the Ambo company because it was, and again,
Oh yeah.
that was something new for me that I hadn't experienced again because I took this leap out of faith and I spent all this money, and I'm the guy that I feel like that. Um, I sit back and I analyze stuff and I wait and I try to see if I can fix it. All right, and I just couldn't fix this problem. This hole was getting deeper and deeper and deeper to the point that um, I just called my friend up one day and was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna pay everybody tomorrow. I'm closing the doors. We're gonna sell the ambos. I'm gonna talk to the guy about the lease on the building, and that's what I did. I think that was because it felt like a failure, but actually it wasn't. It was actually the greatest experience that I could ever have. But at that moment, it was probably the worst in business. But it just let me know that just because I do X, Y, Z doesn't mean that I have to show somebody else or prove it to them that I got it. Because again, you get caught up in this thing of because I'm successful, you got to know that I'm successful. I'd rather for you to walk right by me and not know me.
Right.
Than, you know what I'm saying? For you to have the opportunity to say um, he's successful and he got this. Because again, I think that it creates an ego in people, and I don't. That's not the ego that I want. I'd rather be loved and respected than to be fed. That's what I like. I like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So this time next year, what do you hope to have accomplished?
Oh man, I'm looking for what next year this time? I think next year this time I'm trying to find a happy space in a relationship. That's number one. And just to have just be in good health because I'm actually working on my health now. I actually met somebody that's teaching me about my health. So um, I'm more so focused on my health at this point. So
Okay.
I'm hoping to be in the best of health. Yeah, yeah, fit.
So you did mention relationships. So are you single?
Single, but I think that's kind of complicated. It's complicated. And again, I'm finding that footing. I'm trying to find that I'm trying to. I believe I have it. I just can't speak on it just yet.
Okay. So I have another set of questions that
Mhm.
hinges on the answer to that are you single question. And generally, that's a yes or a no.
Okay.
So I don't know which set of questions to ask now. I got follow-up questions. I
But
don't know.
I'm gonna give you the answer like a politician. You can answer it.
Okay, let's see. So then I could so you have met someone and you think they could be the one. Is that what you said to me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it about this person that makes you think they could be the one?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely the spirit. I mean, you gotta have it's your soul. You find people that if their soul ain't right, it ain't gonna be right. I mean, they can look good on the outside, but if their soul not right and they don't have the right intentions with it, you know, it's a lost cause.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge of relationships and how do you handle it?
A lot of chance, the biggest one is with anything finances. But again, I think if you had a conversation, what's what am I to do? What are you asking of me? And we talk about it. I think that you can get through it. Another thing is communication. If you don't have communication in a relationship, you have nothing. Because again, sometimes it just be strictly about lust. It's about lust. It's about whatever that person has to offer for you, whatever they feel like that you can take them. It's a lot. If you don't have the communication, that's the biggest problem.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self a piece of life advice, what would it be?
Be a little bit more so far as I had a chance to go back. Oh, I did a lot of dumb stuff when I was in the streets. Again, I was looking for notoriety.
What would you tell yourself if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice? What would you tell yourself?
Listen to my homeboy on that corner that day. Yeah, I would tell my younger self to go back and revisit that conversation and listen to what that joke was saying to you, because he gonna win. Like right now, he winning. This joker got like 200 houses in Baltimore. He
Oh
winning.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be good advice, right?
he said though, he talking about he got inventory. I see him the other day. He said, "Boy, I got inventory."
Wow, man.
Inventory. He said, "Yeah, I got inventory." I said, "Okay, all right."
Okay. So who are your top 3 comedians and why?
Oh, you know what? I'm definitely a David Chappelle fan.
Everybody says, I've been asking that question since October of everybody I've interviewed, and everybody's number 1 is Dave Chappelle. Now, why do you like Dave Chappelle?
I think Dave is talking about real issues. And again, as African Americans, and we still fighting for rights. And you got people coming through that they LGBTQ and people of other cultures, they getting laws passed, and we still striving. We still trying to be accepted. We still got to fight for ours, and again, nobody is, giving us nothing. We still have to fight for what we want. They got rules and regulations put in place. With Chinese people got attacked over on a weekend. They got a law overnight. Who was protecting us? I had it out with somebody that doesn't look like me, doesn't understand what racial profiling looks like. I told him, I said, he said I was racist. And I said, no, I'm not racist. I'm a realist, because you're white. And if you take your car and you ride down North Avenue in a heavily populated area where there's drugs, and you speeding down the street, and they pull you over, you can get out and cuss them out. You going home. I said, but me, if I do that same thing, I'm subject to, I don't even have to get out the car. I still may not make it home.
Right.
To this day, and I've always been trained in this, I would never let you stereotype me in a car. My car, I've never put rims or any of that kind of stuff on my car, because I never wanted to be profiled. I like those things. Don't get me wrong. I like the Mercedes Benz. But if you ever notice me, I've always bought a GMC truck. I've always bought a Mazda. I've always bought things that weren't associated with profilers. Like right now in Baltimore, if you ride down Baltimore and you go into the city, everybody got a Honda Accord coupe with tinted windows. I'm not buying a Honda Accord coupe. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I might buy a Hyundai, because I don't want you to be focused on me. I need you to go focus on whoever you want to focus on.
Okay, so that was Dave Chappelle. Who's the other 2?
Other 2, I love Capone. He's funny. I think he just straight out hilarious. He's funny. I mean, his jokes for me are funny. And my third one is, believe it or not, I just watched it the other night, was Dion Cole. Cole. Yeah, Dion Cole was funny.
Okay.
So the Kevin Hart's and all them, I think that they've gone mainstream, which is fine. But I mean, I definitely like Dave, because he's gonna give you what's real.
Okay. So our next guest host just showed up in the room. So I'm gonna get through these next few questions so we can get on to the next segment, because I know our next guy is on a time frame. Your favorite vacation spot and why?
My favorite was Jamaica. And why? Because I played my best round of golf.
Oh, that's what you do. Okay. And finally, what is success to you?
Success was just being my family being secure. That's all. That's success. As long as I can take care of my family properly, that's it. And whoever my mate is in my family, that's it. That's success for me.
Okay. And when is your next show?
Uh, the next one is the first. Is it this? It's we're gonna be doing January what? You got me now.
I know. But
Is it actually on the? It's actually gonna be the 7th of January, right?
I think you what, the second Friday of the month?
Second Friday of the month, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I get everybody with that one because when everybody come on to do their show, they're always focused on their show. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, so when is your next show? So that your listeners can tune in.
Yeah. It's gonna be January
Okay.
7th. Yeah, January 7th.
Okay. Well, you had a great show. I really enjoyed it. And I am looking forward to your next show on January 7th. I'm sure that we'll have some great conversation.